At 5 a.m. Tehran time, that was the message that went out to the world. And with those words, the geopolitical landscape of the 21st century was just fundamentally broken. This was the moment we were all told that a line had been crossed, and there is absolutely no going back.
And this thing has a name: Operation Epic Fury. And let's be crystal clear about this. This wasn't some kind of warning shot. This wasn't a limited surgical strike. The objective here, as we're all starting to realize, is just staggering in its ambition and in its potential for catastrophe.
So the Rubicon is crossed. We're going to look at how the world has been completely turned upside down in just the last 24 hours. And you're going to want to stay till the end because some of the things we are about to reveal are truly shocking. All right, let's get back to it. In this explainer, we are going to break down what might be the single most significant 24-hour period in modern military history. We're looking at the strategy, the absolutely devastating retaliation, and the terrifying new reality we all woke up to this morning.
Okay, so within hours of the first bombs dropping, the entire region just ignited. US military bases all across the Gulf went from being on alert to being active combat zones. The Strait of Hormuz, the world's most critical oil choke point, is now frankly a war zone, and global markets are in a complete tailspin. On top of all of that, in a move that shocked everyone, the United States openly declared its goal is to end the Islamic Republic itself. This is chaos, completely unchained.
So how on earth did this all unfold? Well, the military playbook for this operation was deliberately and really shockingly different from anything we've ever seen before.
The first big shock was the timing. You see, unlike past campaigns that started under the cover of darkness, shock and awe, Epic Fury was launched in broad daylight. The goal was to achieve what military analysts call total tactical surprise. It's a psychological blow, really, designed to create maximum confusion, maximum paralysis within the Iranian command structure. Hit them when they would never, ever expect it.
The offensive itself was built on three main pillars. First, you had symbolic strikes right in Tehran, in the Pasteur district, the very heart of the regime's power. Second, a massive assault on the so-called missile belt in Esfahan and Tabriz, going after those deep underground facilities. And third, you had strikes aimed at neutralizing the Iranian Navy by hitting its main hub at Bandar Abbas. Each target was picked for a very specific reason: one psychological, one strategic, and one economic.
Now to get to those underground missile silos, US B-2 Spirit bombers use one of the most powerful conventional weapons they have, the Massive Ordnance Penetrator, or MOP. The goal wasn't just to destroy the missiles inside those bunkers. The goal, in the president's own words, was to raise the industry to the ground by literally collapsing the tunnels themselves.
And look, none of this happened in a vacuum, but it happened incredibly fast. This attack was the brutal end of a 10-day countdown. It started with an ultimatum on social media, of all places. Then, last-ditch diplomatic talks in Geneva started to fall apart, and then they collapsed completely. The moment that failure was confirmed, the order for Epic Fury was given. The path from the negotiating table to the war zone was just shockingly short.
But Iran did not hesitate. Within 2 hours of those first US strikes, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps launched its counteroffensive, Operation Truthful Promise 4. And this was not some measured, telegraphed response. No, this was a salvo of maximum retaliation. The sheer scale of the counterattack was just immense. Ballistic missiles targeted the headquarters of the U.S. Fifth Fleet in Bahrain. At the same time, advanced Haibar and Fatah missiles were raining down on critical air bases in both Qatar and Kuwait. The whole point was just sheer volume to overwhelm and saturate even the best missile defense systems. And as all of this was happening, sirens began to blare all across Israel.
This is the nightmare scenario. It's the one that analysts have been warning us about for decades. The conflict is no longer contained inside Iran's borders. It has spilled over into sovereign U.S. allied territory across the Gulf. We're already getting confirmed reports of a civilian casualty in Abu Dhabi from falling debris. The regional buffer that once existed, it's just gone. It's evaporated.
But it's possible the most seismic event of the last 24 hours wasn't a missile strike at all. It was a speech. It was a radical departure from decades of American foreign policy delivered directly to the world.
I mean, just listen to that. This is an open, explicit call for the overthrow of the Islamic Republic, and it's addressed directly to the Iranian people. It completely transforms the military operation from a mission of disarmament into a public campaign for regime change. That is a truly unprecedented political goal to state so openly.
So why now? Well, this call for revolution comes just weeks after the regime's absolutely brutal Black January crackdown. Human rights groups estimate that over 7,000 protesters were killed by the IRGC. The US is clearly and very directly trying to tap into all of that simmering rage.
This represents the ultimate geopolitical gamble. The US is betting that this 1-2 punch, external military force combined with internal civilian protest, will cause the regime to just collapse from within. But the risk of backfire here is immense. As many analysts are warning, a foreign attack could be the one thing that rallies a fractured population around its government, strengthening the very regime the US is trying to topple.
And the shockwaves from this conflict? They're already being felt thousands of miles away. They're shaking the very foundations of the global economy and paralyzing international diplomacy.
Here's the number that has every world leader's attention today: $180. That's the price analysts are predicting oil could hit by Monday if the Strait of Hormuz remains a no-go zone. We are watching a potential economic black swan event unfold in real time.
And just to be clear about how dramatic that is, we are not talking about a small increase. This would be a price spike of more than double. That is an economic jolt that would be felt by every single person on this planet.
And the crises are just cascading. Global aviation is in total chaos as flight paths are redrawn around the entire region. Nations like India are issuing the highest level of warning to millions of their citizens working in the Gulf. And the UN Security Council, the one body designed to handle this very thing, it's completely paralyzed, unable to do anything. And you know the most terrifying part of all this? This is just the beginning. According to reports, this joint operation is planned to last for at least 4 days of continuous strikes. All of this chaos, all of this destruction, we are only 24 hours in.
Which leaves us with the one question that matters right now. Is this the violent birth of a new Middle East, like its architects hope? Or have we just witnessed the opening shots of a third world war? The terrifying truth is, no one knows the answer.
We will be tracking this crisis every step of the way, so make sure to subscribe for updates as this story develops. And be sure to watch the explainer coming up on your screen. Stay safe and stay informed.